I want to show you the framework that we use when a client comes to us and says, all right, we want to tell a story for this objective. And this is what you can use, again, whether it's video, whether it's just writing for your website or an ad that you're going to put out or you're going to pitch an investor. This is what you're going to use. So here's our 5 questions. And this is as formulaic as you're going to get from me. And these 5 questions, if you can answer these, you're already going to be in a really strong position to win. So the first one is, what is the purpose? And by the purpose, I mean, what is the outcome? How do you know that this is going to be successful? Is it going to be more clicks? Is it going to be more purchases? Is it going to be the investor writes a check? Or is it going to be long-term? Is it more brand affinity? What are we actually trying to achieve here? And honestly, we need to get clear on this before we even think about what story we're telling or how we're going to tell it, right? Video is not a marketing strategy. Video is a medium to get that out of there. The core is, what is the purpose? And then the next, once you understand that, it's understanding who the audience is. There's another great Pixar rule of storytelling that I love, which is to write for what's interesting to you as the audience, not as the writer. And that's really important. So when you're creating videos or stories, or even when you're out in the hallway talking to someone, it's understanding what matters to them and how can you tell a story that's going to be relatable to them and exciting to them. So if I was to walk up to you in the hallway and just start talking about everything I love and it's all me and me, you'd probably be like, all right, how do I get out of this conversation with this guy? But if you can understand your audience and really speak to what matters to them, you're going to go a lot further. So that's really important. And there's a lot into that, and I know that you've had a little bit around that as far as sessions earlier as well. Then it's, what is the core message? When you're telling a story or creating a video or whatever it may be, cramming everything about your business inside of it it's not going to be as effective, right? So saying like, well, we want to communicate that we have the lowest prices, but we also want to tell our origin story, but we also want to talk about this, noble deed that we did last month, this charity contribution that we did. Doing all of those things in one video or one story is going to make it fall flat. So if you can get clear on that core message, it's going to be much stronger. And that goes back again to, why must you tell this story? The other thing is, where will it live? And so now we're thinking about the medium. Now we're thinking about, okay, is this going to live on social media? Is this going to live on our website? Is this going to come out of my mouth in front of an investor or potential co-founder? So when you can understand the medium of where this lives, you can understand some of your parameters, right? So a common misconception that drives me bonkers in video marketing is that it has to be short. No longer than 30 seconds. I see some nods, I'm sure you've heard this, or you've read the articles on video marketing that says it can't be longer than a minute. I call BS. It depends. Yes, sometimes. On social media, if you're interrupting with a product message, yeah, generally shorter is better, right? People are not, they're gonna be scrolling like crazy. But if you're telling a really compelling story and maybe you're on YouTube where people go with the intent of watching videos, you're gonna have more time to get away with, right? So understanding that platform is really important. And next is, how will it be shared? So this is a little bit different than where it will live, in that this is, how are you going to get it out there, right? So if I create the best story in the world and I put it up on our website, or I put it up on YouTube, but I have no idea for how I'm actually gonna get eyeballs on that video or that story, it doesn't matter. So we need to think about, what are the ways we're going to distribute this, whether that's paid traffic or getting friends to share it or partnering up with people to help get it out there. That's another whole presentation in and on itself, but it's something to think about up front and not just create your video or your story and then be left later like, nobody's watching this, when you haven't thought through how you're actually going to get it out there. So these are the 5 questions that you want to answer before you create any story or content or advertisement.